So, good evening, everybody. Here we are on Wednesday evening in Edinburgh. It's a very sunny evening and apparently very windy. Some of the class have been to the sea side today, which is very nice. Okay, so today we are going to just start off sitting, and we'll do a little warm up on the floor of the neck and shoulder area first before we do anything else. So if you make sure that you're comfortable sitting, so you ideally want to have your knees lower than your hips. So this will involve, for some of you, raising, sitting up on something so that your bottom's raised up off the floor. Some people, when they sit on the floor, they can open up easily and have their knees on the floor, but generally in the West, because we don't generally sit on the floor a lot, it's our joints are not really geared up for that. So to be realistic with what our bodies can manage. Okay, so from here, just have the hands relaxed, and we're going to inhale, just bringing the shoulders up to the ears, and then exhale down, and again. Inhale, shoulders up to the ears. See how much you can squeeze them in. Exhale. So we can start to involve the arms as well, so you can let the hands lift up a little bit. And down. Up. And down. And one more. And down. Right, let's take that now into a rotation. So we're making circles with our shoulders down, forward, up and back. You might hear a little bit of crunching going on. And then we'll change the direction of that, rolling the other way. Nice, and then release. So let's just finish with the back and down. Now stretch out your arms to the side. If they touch the floor, then fine, but if not, just let them hover. And looking straight ahead, we're going to lengthen up, as high, make ourselves as tall as we can. So the crown of the head lifts up, sit bones back and down, and you just feel the little activation of that lower abdomen is drawing in and up. And the back waist moves slightly back. Take a breath in. As you exhale, just rotate your head to the right. As you do that, just a little stretch through the arms. Inhale back. Exhale, lengthening to the left. Little stretch through the arm. Inhale back again. So soften the arms in between times so you don't hold them too rigid. Lengthen going to the right. Breathing, drop the shoulders back to the center, exhale to the left. Just twiddle your fingers a little bit, just release any tension that you can shake off. And then back to the center. You can just drop your arms for a moment. And again, sliding the arms out, this time right ear to right shoulder. Now, as you do that, you'll probably feel a bit of a stretch through that left arm. Just send that left arm away, just to increase that slightly. And again, just a little twiddle with the fingers. You're shaking off any tension you might be holding there. Back to center, and then going the other way. Left ear to left shoulder. Noticing where you feel that on the other side. Softening into the stretch. And then back to center. Right ear again to right shoulder. And this time, as you're stretching, let the right ear drop to the right shoulder. And then I'm just going to rotate to look behind us, look behind the right shoulder. Stretching through the arms and release. Another side. left ear to left shoulder. Keep nice and tall, shoulders down. And we're rotating to look behind us. Breathing. And then release. Okay, and then just ease out. Okay, right now, if you're quite high up, you might just need a block, but try and see if you can get your left hand on the floor, and if you can, that's fine. But if you're quite high up, you know, you might not manage that, so then you can just have a block so that you've got something to push against. And then we're going to turn our right arm to face forward and bring it up. So come up about into a bit of a half Y shape, then rotate, and rotate the inner arm and see if you can bring the inner arm in line with the ear. Now, it may be that that's one step too far, so don't do that by bending in the elbow. If you're having to bend in the elbow, just keep the arm a little bit further away and think about bringing the inner arm to the ear, dropping the shoulder. Stretch up as tall as you can, so it may be that you're stretching that way, but if you are able to bring the inner arm to the ear, then you can stretch up. So if you're aiming for the point where the wall meets the ceiling, as if you're trying to touch between the where the wall meets the ceiling. Beautiful. Breathing. And then see if you can slide a little bit more, so you can slide your left arm away to increase that stretch. Breathing. Very nice breathing. Don't let your head collapse, because that can be a bit sore on the neck, so have your head supported and release. Good. Lovely. Right, let's change sides. So again, if you were using a block, you're going to take that to the other side. Otherwise, take the arm up and we're going to rotate the inner arm, and then bring that inner arm towards the ear, in line with the ear. Reach up as tall as we can. If you find that's quite a hard action, you can't quite get that happening, then just keep a Y shape, a half Y shape. And then as you go to the side, you can just think about going up rather than up and sideways. But if you're fine and you can get that inner arm to the ear, then off you go. So you're sending the fingertips up to the point where the ceiling meets the wall. And if you feel fine, just keep going. Don't collapse your head, Hazel. Keep going. So keep that ear touching the inner arm, basically. See, if I do that with my head, you see I'm detaching my head from my arm, but keep, yeah, that's better. And then stretch, 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 stretch. As much as you can, sliding away a little bit more. And obviously, as you're stretching, keep that left hip rooted. Oh, 3 more breaths. Nice, and release. Okay, great. Right, okay, so let's just stay with the floor for now. So we're going to just stretch our legs out. And if you've got your belt handy, you bring the belt around your feet. So I'm still up, lifted up. This makes it much more possible to get your hinge and to have your spine stacked. So we're rolling our shoulders back and down. And sit up tall as we can. So let's just think about what's going on here. So we want to get a feeling of dropping our sit bones down and slightly back, rolling our shoulders back and down. Stretching our heels away and letting our toes come slightly towards us, towards our knees. And look at your ankles. If you had a line through your outer ankle, inner ankle, inner ankle, outer ankle, that would, everything would be on the same line. So see if that's happening with you. And if not, you might need to just lengthen your inner leg a little bit more to bring your inner ankle in line with your outer ankle. Opening the chest. Now, if you can, let go of your belt, but keep everything exactly the same, lovely open chest. Bring the arms out to the side. We're going to float the arms up and get our lovely rotation, and then exhale. See if we can bring our inner arms towards the ears. Now again, it may be that that's just not quite happening, in which case make a lovely wide Y and keep beautiful straight elbows. Dropping our shoulders. And then just think about bringing the inner arms towards the ears. You don't have to actually do it, but you can think about doing it, and that gets you into the right position. So it's quite widening here, and you'll feel it across the back of the shoulders. Fingertips reaching up. Don't bend your elbows, because there's a tendency just to do that with the elbows. So we're avoiding that. And if we need to be a Y shape in order to have straight arms, so a bit more of a Y, Trish, that's better. Dropping the shoulders, so it's very, very strong. And then your thumbs go back behind you. Let's hold it for the count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fingertips reaching to the ceiling. 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax. Very good. Now that's not an easy pose. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's called Dandasana, or rod pose. So we're going to do it one more time. Let's start off with our belt again. And we'll get lovely and high, rolling our shoulders back and down. Now, if you find it's you need to keep holding the belt, don't worry, you can just do that. Or potentially you could hold the belt with one hand, and you could just go with one arm and then swap and go with the other arm. But if you find it, you don't need the belt, you can let go and keep a lovely straight spine. Then do that, and we're going to float the arms out, rotate the palm, and stretching out. Send the heels away. Feel the sit bones descending, so it's really active. Drop your shoulders away from the ears. Take the thumbs back. That's better, Trish. Thumbs back behind you. That's it. Kirsten, lovely. Lovely. Keep sending the thumbs back. Watch, don't do that with your hand, Hazel, so keep your fingers pointing. Yeah, change arm. Yeah, lovely, Kirsten, well done. Drop the shoulders, breathing. Let's hold for 5 more breaths. Take the thumbs back behind you. Engage your sit bones. Lovely. And release. Very good. So hopefully you all felt that in the backs of your shoulders. Okay, so from there, let's just take our right arm and just cross it over to the left, and we'll just get a little stretch of the back of the shoulders. Keep the shoulders down if you can. So don't do that. Keep the shoulders down. Breathing. Nice. And then the other one, so left arm just crossing over and catch it. Checking that you're not hunching your shoulder, keep your shoulder down. Really tightly pulling the arm towards your left arm towards your right. So you feel that, you might feel it in different places. I can feel it a little bit there, you might feel it somewhere else. Breathing. Let's get our Ujjayi breath going, in through the nose. As if you were breathing in through the front of the throat and out through the nose, but as if you're breathing out through the front of the throat. Lovely, and release. Great. Right, so if you were using something to sit on, just move it away. And we're going to just take our hands, so the fingertips are facing forward, and just push your hands into the floor. And then walk your heels away, and just see if you can lift up so that you're balancing on your hands. Lovely. Might do this sideways. So you're walking the heels away, and then nice, and then down. Very nice, Hazel, lovely. And then take your fingers so they're going the other way, so they're pointing back. I might just tip that down a bit so you can see. Yeah, so they're pointing back, and we will do it again, walking the hands away. Wait up. Breathing. And very nice, and release. Lovely, some of you are very, very good at that. Okay, very nice. So you can really feel that in your hands. Don't worry if that was a bit hard for you. Just do what you can. Even if you're sitting and you just think about beginning to lift, you're going to be getting the benefit. So don't worry if you don't actually manage to lift. Right, so from there, I want to do our dog pose. So those of you that are able to get down easily onto the floor can just do your dog from the floor, but we can also use a sofa or a chair, and then just walking back. So we're making a bit of a V shape. You can do your dog that way. So you're just getting a nice stretch, or you can use the top of the sofa. Now, those of you that are from the floor, can we just check that we've got the hips, the feet hip distance? Just come right up onto the tips of the toes first. Check that your hands are in line with the shoulders and your fingers are spread, pointing forward. Bend your knees to begin with and let your bottom go up and back. Then see if you can begin to straighten the legs. Think about where your ears are. You want them to be in line with the upper arms, and slide your ears down towards the elbows. Breathe. So if you're needing a rest, then take a break. If you're using the chair, maybe just have a little sit on the chair. If you're doing it from the floor, you might want to just rest in the pose of the child. But if you're doing your stretch from the chair and you just need a little rest, then just come and sit on the chair, and then you haven't got so far to go to do your second one. So you can have a little rest and then get working again. We'll go again. Yeah, that's nice. Spread the fingers, pointing forward, and spread the toes. Just check that you bent your knees, send the bottom up and away. Thinking about your ears sliding down towards your elbows. So your head is really nice and long, your neck's nice and long, and you're not stressing. Your head should just be quite loose. So if someone was to come and just touch your head, it should kind of nod, like a nodding dog. in a car, because you're not stressing it, you're just letting it hang, letting it lengthen. Sliding the ears down towards the elbows. Breathing, keeping the shoulders moving back and down. So you're supporting your head and neck through the upper chest. Okay, and then let's just bring the right ankle in front of the left knee. So we're going into our pigeon. And this is where you can also use your chair. If you find that going down on the floor is giving you too strong a stretch, then you can support yourself with a chair. So that gives you more height and also it gives you a bit more security. If that is not a problem for you, then off you go. You can take the head down. Ujjayi breath. So we're breathing in through the front of the throat, as if we were breathing in through the front of the throat and out through the front of the throat. So you're making a slight sound on the inhalation and exhalation. Okay, so let's tuck our back foot under now, and we're going to push our hands into the floor as if we were trying to push the floor away from our body, away from our knee, shoulders away from the ears, and see how much you can lift that back leg. So tuck your back foot under, lift your back knee. Yeah, good, good stretch. So let's see if we can feel that stretch from fingertip to toes. So you're activating through the core, shoulders down, away from the ears. Breathing. Lovely straight elbows. 2 more breaths. See if you can lift a little bit higher on the knee. 1 more breath. And relax. Nice. Okay, and then from there we'll just walk back. So if that's, if you need to use a chair, then you can always just use a chair to come up a little bit. But if you're able to keep your hips square to each other, and then we're going to see if we can get the fingertips under the shoulders, and then see if we can catch. Opening the chest. So just do what you can. If you can always try, just have your hands on a chair and try and get into something, the front of the chest opening. Lovely. And then we're going to release, and then just rock onto your right hip, catch your left ankle, and then turn so that your hips are square again. And you're going to just feel that stretch through the front of the thigh. And actually you might feel it in the right glute as well. Holding. Breathing. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Try not to stress the shoulders as you catch the foot. Lovely, and then release. So yeah, if you find that that's not really, position's not possible for you, you can get the same benefit by just going on your side and just pulling using a belt and just pulling that ankle towards you. And then keeping your knees quite near each other on the same, you know, don't have your knee up high is what I mean. So keep the knee in line with the hip. You can bring the knee back, and that gives you a similar action, but you don't have to hold the pose, which might be a bit tricky for you. Okay, let's do another dog before we go into the other one. So we're coming back up into dog, getting a nice stretch, and have the elbows in line with the ears, bringing the ears towards the thumbs, towards the elbows, towards the thumbs, having the heels down if you can. Lovely, breathing. So again, you can have your hands up nice and high so the angle is not so steep. Use the support at the top of the sofa or the armchair or a good solid kitchen chair, which is perhaps against the wall so that you don't, when you push it, it doesn't move. Breathing. So dog pose, once you get the hang of it, becomes a resting position. You might be surprised to know. And then we're going to take our left foot, take a breath in as we exhale, bring the left foot forward. Sending that right leg back, squaring up the hips. And either staying high, or if you can, come low. Softening into pigeon. Breathing. Okay, and then tucking our right toes under, sending out the arms in front of us, push the floor away from your body, so away from your knees, and tucking the back foot under. See if you can send that right heel back, all the while lifting the right knee, stretching that right leg as much as you can. Feel that stretch through all the connective tissue. Try and keep the joint of the big toe active in the right foot. Draw your lower abdomen in and up. So really we want to try and get all the connective tissue activating from fingertip to tips of the toes. Sending that heel back, press the joint of the big toe firmly. Lifting that knee. 3 more breaths. Lovely, and then just relax. And we're going to just walk the hands in. If that's a possibility for you, just go to wherever your back can manage, because you may find just coming up that much is going to give you enough. You're feeling something happening in your back. Remember, you can use height if that helps. So, but if you can manage without, you know, if you've gone too far, if your lower back starts to pinch, then in that case, come back a bit, because you don't want that. But the other thing to think about is to just let your pubic bone move in the direction of your navel. So that helps to make sure that you're not impinging on your lower back. Lovely. So feeling that stretch, you might feel it strongly in the front of your hip flexor, but then if we can, we're catching, keep the hips square to the floor, to each other. So you don't have one hip dropped, is what I mean by that. Beautiful. That's it. So keep trying to squeeze your shoulders together there, Ruth, and you're bringing your, as if you're trying to show the sternum to the ceiling. Nice, that's lovely, Sarah. Good, Trish, that's great, yeah, lovely. Okay, and then we're going to rock onto our left hip. So this is where we're going to catch our ankle, but if you need to just be lying on your side, then you can do that. And you can just catch, have your knees, have this top knee in line with the hip, and then just let the knee go back. So you're going to get a little stretch through the front of your hip flexor, but those of you that are fine with just catching and then rolling back to face down, sliding the knee away if you can, and then just breathing into that stretch. It can be quite a strong stretch through the front of the quads, and you may well be feeling it in the hip flexor and in the psoas. So don't push it too far, but just see if you can soften into the stretch. Breathe. And if you find it, you can bring the knee a little bit further away, squeeze the heel a bit closer. Trying to bring the front of your pelvis slightly forward and down. That increases that stretch. Noticing the difference that you feel on each side. Great, and then release. Yeah, it's quite a good one, isn't it? You. And then let's just move from there into cross-legged. So if you want to, you can get on. If you've got a wobble cushion, you can go up onto that, or just. You don't have to be up on anything, but if you want to, remember we're always looking to get the knees lower than the hips if we can. So let's just take the soles of the feet together. So we're doing our baddha konasana. And if you are using the wobble cushion, this is a great, let go with your hands and just notice how you have to work quite hard to stop yourself from wobbling. If you have your hands just like free floating, yeah, palms up. Great. Dropping the shoulders. And what we're looking for is to feel how we have to squeeze the pelvic floor together and draw it up into the, if you've got your vertebrae, so you want to draw the pelvic floor up into the bottom, the lower vertebrae. There's a squeeze and lift. Squeeze and lift. Shoulders down. Crown of the head up. Yeah, we can let's bring the palms together, pushing the palms slightly into each other. Drop the shoulders. Squeeze and lift. And then let's start to bring our arms up. Dropping the shoulders down, squeeze and lift, squeeze and lift. Lovely. Yeah, you may find that if your shoulders are a bit stiff, you might have to point your fingers forward rather than up. But if you can have your fingers pointing up and your shoulders dropping down, then that's ideal. Lovely. And then as you exhale, you can just think about seeing, can I get my hands a bit higher? Can I drop my shoulders a bit more? What's happening to the pelvic floor? Feel that squeeze and lift. See if you can get your thumbs going back behind you. Yeah, try not to have the elbows forward. You want to open the elbows a bit. Lovely, Kirsten. Breathing. Let's hold for 3 more breaths. Keep dropping the shoulders down. You really feel that in the upper back. Drop the shoulders down. And release. Nice. So you should be probably feeling that just behind below the neck and just above the shoulders. You know. Okay, so let's stretch our legs out, and we're going to bend that right knee, touching the knee, and holding on with, you can either hold with the left hand or the left elbow, or if you can get the elbow on the outside edge of the knee. And we're going to lift as tall as we can, lovely long trunk, rotate to look behind us, look to the right, over the right shoulder. Now what's happened to the left leg? You want to keep your left foot working, toes up to the ceiling. Keep the shoulder rolling back and down. I'm talking about the right shoulder. Nice. Okay, so we'll swap over. So we're stretching out now the right foot, have the toes pointing up to the ceiling. If you find when you turned it you felt a little bit too bound up, then you can move your foot a little bit away and have it also distant, which gives you a wee bit more space to get around. And you can also lean back a little bit if that helps you to get, because we want to have a straight spine and you're rotating around your spine, so we don't want to be humped, because that makes it really hard to get the rotation. So some people need to start off slightly leaning back to get that rotation. But once you can then start to catch around, hook the knee, and then if you can bring the elbow down. And turn. Breathe. So we want to try and get that elbow, if you've got it on the other side of the left knee, then try and bring it down towards the floor a bit. All the time you're working to lengthen through the spine. Breathe. And release. Good. So you might well feel that that's squeezing your gut area, which is what it's designed to do. Okay, so we're just going to do a little forward bend. You can do it with cross leg if that is a nice forward bend for you, or if that's not comfortable for you, you can do straight legs, or just find a sitting position that's most comfortable. And you can also have a chair to just bend forward onto if that is if that gives you a nicer relaxation. But otherwise, if you can, some of you I know can get your head down. And if you did have your legs crossed one way, then just change the cross and then go back down again. But if you're symmetrical, then you can just stay down. Yeah, as I say, you may not be all the way down. That's absolutely fine. The main thing is to get a feeling of length. So from the pubic bone to sternum, you want to feel length, so you're not crunching up your body as you bend forward. So that might entail just being leaning onto something a bit higher, so you can keep your height through the front of your body. Yeah, so see if you've got like a cushion or a big bean bag. If your head's not down, try and find something that you can actually then be softening onto that. Beautiful. Yeah, it's lovely with blocks. Oh yeah, beautiful. That's nice. Exactly. And once you've got something to relax onto, you'll find that your forward bend just starts to soften because you're not worried about overstretching. So you can do something like that. And then as you warm up, you'll find that you might need you can just lower the support that you're using. Lovely. Really feel that you can soften through your hands, soften through your fingers as you exhale. Beautiful. And then just slowly, when you're ready, taking a breath will come up. Nice. Very nice. That looked really lovely. I had a nice feeling about it. Yeah, so that is always worth realizing that if you, if I show you on the side, just say you're coming forward and then that's as far as your back's letting you go, or your hips might be as far as your hips are letting you go, that you're just kind of hovering, then you tend to just brace yourself so that you don't go more, because you don't want to hurt your body. And then, of course, once you're in that brace position, you don't even realize you're doing it, but you're kind of slightly bracing, and it makes it really impossible just to soften. But if you give yourself some support, you know, you're actually in the same position, but because you've got the support, your body's going, oh, I don't need to brace because I've got the chair there. So then your body relaxes, and that's the way that you can then begin to go a little bit more, a little bit more. Does that make sense? So it's kind of, you're almost tricking your body in a way. Right, from there we're going to head down to the floor, and I would like you to make sure you've got your belt and also something for under your head if you use that. I'm going to just get a little, you don't want it to be too high. So we're lying on our back. So first of all, let's just bend both knees and keep both knees bent. And then we're going to just bring our right knee forward. So if you can manage just to catch, so you've got your right arm inside your right leg and then you're holding around the instep. If you can manage to do that without humping up your shoulders, then do that. But if your arms aren't quite long enough, then just do it with your belt instead. And then we're going to just exhale. Now, I don't actually want you to straighten your leg. I want you to begin to straighten it, but keep the knee slightly bent and send the heel away. So if that's not giving you enough leeway, you can use your belt, but don't do that with your leg. Don't straighten it. Keep the knee bent and think about sending the heel up, because then we're going to get the stretch properly through the hamstring, which sometimes we can bypass if we just overstretch. Feeling that, I want it to feel. Keep the knee slightly bent, sending the heel up to the ceiling. Breathing. If you've got the big toe within easy reach, you can catch around your big toe. Keep the knee slightly bent. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Breathing. So you keep going to see how much more you can stretch through your heel, but don't lock the knee, so there's that slight softness in the knee. Great. And release. Okay, so we're placing that foot back on the floor. Keep both knees bent, and then let's do the same thing with the other side. And bearing in mind, you might feel different, each leg might feel differently. So if you need to catch the belt with one side but not the other, then just notice that. So if you can catch around the instep, your knees bent. So you're bringing the knee as close to your chest as you can manage. And then stretching up, stretching that heel up to the ceiling. So the knee is still bent. And then exhale, stretch. Keep the knee forward, stretching through that heel, breathing, breathing. See if you can stretch a bit more, sending that heel away. If you can catch the toe with your two front fingers. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Sending that heel away. So the knees, you're not locking that knee, there's a little bend in the knee. Keep lengthening. Lovely, and then release. And then let's take that into the happy baby pose. So we'll catch around both toes and then stretch the heels away. If you find that's not working for you, then if you've got a lovely long belt, you need to have a really long yoga belt. The yoga belts come in different lengths, so you want the longest one really. And then you can do something like this to get that something happening for you. So if we can hook, if we are able to hook the fingers around the knees, have the knees towards your face, and then we're just stretching. See if we can send the heels out to the side and up, keeping the knees ever so slightly bent, shoulders away from the ears, extra big long stretch. Right, and then release. Nice. And then just hug the knees to the chest. Ujjayi breath in through the nose, as if through the front of the throat, out through the nose, as if out through the front of the throat. Okay, let's take the right ankle in front of the left knee. The right hand is going through the gap between the legs, and then you're going to catch around the left shin. It may be that that's not working for you without disturbing your shoulders, so then you can just have your belt handy so you can hold your belt and let slightly elongate your arms for you. Keeping your hip bones square as possible, you're starting to bring that left knee forward and down. And think about your navel moving in the direction of the pubic bone as you do that. Nice, lovely. And we will change direction. So, catching the knees again. Left ankle in front of right knee. Take that left hand through the gap between the legs and then catch around the right shin if you can, or use your belt. Because if you find that when you catch, your shoulders lift off the floor and you sort of lose a nice open chest, then it's better to use your belt. Squaring up the hips, bringing the knee, bringing that right knee forward and down. And at the same time, you're thinking about your navel moves towards the pubic bone. So your lower back is moving down, back down towards the floor. It's not lifting up away from the floor. Breathing. Lovely, and then releasing that, and we'll just take our cushion or blocks, and we're bringing our knees, keeping our knees towards our chest. Let the knees go over to the right, but keep your left shoulder down. You can adjust the position of your knees, either have them higher or lower. If you take them higher, you're going to have to be more flexible in the shoulders to be able to keep your shoulder down. So if you take them high and then you find that your shoulder's lifting away, then just try taking them a bit lower so that your shoulder can stay down. Should be a lovely relaxing position, so adjust it so that it works really nicely for you. And as you breathe in, you can feel how your belly can just swell on that inhalation and sink on the exhalation. Allowing the body just to soften, let your hands, the weight of your hands, really give the weight of your hands to the floor. Noticing that you might just feel inclined to take a deep breath, just let that happen. Lovely, relaxing breath. Releasing exhalation. Nice, and then we're going to switch sides. Knees towards the chest, let your knees go over to the left. So similarly, you want to adjust your knees so that the right height for you to enable your right shoulder to stay down on the floor. If you find that your right shoulder's pulling up from the floor, then just slide your knees a bit further away from your chest. Don't bring them so close in, and you'll be able to get your shoulders down. So we're looking for that lovely feeling of release, dropping, relaxing. You might notice that the breath comes a little deeper on that inhalation. Relaxing through the backs of your shoulders, letting them sink heavily onto your mat. And then from there, we just roll onto our back. Now, if you know that it's not a good idea for you to be lying flat on your back, then you can just keep your knees bent or have your calves up onto a chair. But if you're happy lying straight, then you can just go straight, and you can have something under your knees if you like, and allowing the knees to fall away from each other and the toes to fall away from each other. Just noticing the breath as we breathe in, we're allowing the tummy to swell on that inhalation and just sink on the exhalation. Get a feeling of as if you just breath by breath, releasing the weight of your body down onto your mat. So every exhalation, just letting the weight sink, softening your body. And as you give the weight of your body to the mat, you might get a lovely feeling of lightness in your body, and you can do it portion by portion of your body, using the breath. So you can breathe into, say, around the back of your pelvis, and then as you exhale, just feel like you're giving the back of the pelvis the weight, giving it to the floor. And as you do that, you may just feel this light feeling coming into your pelvis and actually into your legs as well. Just breath by breath, exhalation by exhalation. Just make sure that you pay attention as well to just the back of the shoulders, to release the exhalation into the backs of the shoulders. Through the backs of the shoulders. And down into the floor. Lovely, and then just in your own time, we're going to take a deep breath, feeling our body on the mat. Just begin to move the fingers, the toes, stretch the arms, stretch the legs. And we're going to come up into sitting. So if that's problematic for you to come up to sitting, a good way to do that is to bring your knees close to your chest. And then we're going to take a breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to bring your knees over to the side, but make sure that you also bring your shoulders with you. So you might want to slightly curl your body. So you take a breath in, slightly curl your body. So as you let your knees go over, the weight of your knees is going to bring your body with you. So you're now well down onto your side. Then you use your hand, strengthen your hand to push you up. So you're just working with gravity. Lovely. Okay, so we'll just finish together. We've gone a little bit over time, but that's it. Lovely. Thank you all.